you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I love you too. Thank you. I tell you, every week it gets worse. The news stories are coming so fast and frequently. I need Dramamine to watch CNN. I have breaking news fatigue. I do. I was talking to my doctor today. I said, "Is drinking in the afternoon right for me?" And he said, "I'm way ahead of you." So, I mean, it's so hard to catch you up on this week because it's like last week never even really ended. We should start this show like all the other HBO shows. Previously on. Previously on As the World Burns. President Batshit had just fired his FBI director for investigating his Russian ties and then met the Russians in the Oval Office to get his next assignment. And of course, pass along classified information. You know, no wonder these guys are laughing. He gave it to them in person in the Oval Office. They're like, this guy is even dumber than we thought. Of course, you know, Trump should not have even had them in the Oval Office. These are the people who hacked and meddled in our election. That's not part of the controversy. That is a fact. They meddled in the election. And Trump says, wait, Trump says, well, Putin asked me to do it. What am I supposed to say? Come on, I work for the guy. I mean, what am I going to tell the boss no? He's so dumb. He keeps outrightly confessing to his crimes. Putin told me to do it. The Comey firing, Trump sends out his people to say some bullshit, and the next day goes on Lester Holt and says, no, it's because of Russia. All my idea. Giving the Russians the classified intelligence stuff. He sends his people out, they deny it, then he's like, no, yeah, I did it. He's like a kid who goes to pick up his prom date, and the parents say, what are your intentions? And he says, I'm going to try to get her to give me a hand job. And then, okay, and then this week we learned that, oh, I love this, James Comey kept meticulous notes and memos on all his meetings with Donald Trump, including, according to the Comey memo, where Trump meets with Comey and says to Comey, you know, Flynn, he's involved with the Russians. Gosh, Jesus Christ, he's a good guy. I hope you can just let this go. Hope you can let this go. Comey said, you know I'm a cop, right? I hope you can let this go. When Vice President Pence heard that, he started scratching out Vice on his business cards. And then today, we learned that Trump said to the Russians during that play date he had with them, he said in front of note takers to the Russians, I just fired the head of the FBI. He was a real nut job. I faced great pressure because of Russia. That's taken care of. Is he trying to get impeached? Even Monica Lewinsky is like, wow, you really blew it in the Oval Office. James Comey is the nut job, says the 70-year-old man with the platinum blonde hair. And the necktie around his knees. What the nut job? Yeah, he's a nut job. Excuse me, I gotta get back to talking to the television. By the way, it's okay, because you know what? All this is good news. We have a special counsel now, Robert Mueller. I doubt that Trump will be president for the full term. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he might not be president by the time he gets back from his trip. You know, he left today on his big overseas trip. One huge question hangs over this trip. While he's gone, who is going to lie to Mike Pence? We don't know this. Because Mike Pence, you gotta love Mike Pence. This guy eats more shit than a goat. There is nothing this man will not believe. He can watch the shit coming straight out of the bull's ass. And if you tell him it's chocolate mousse, he'll repeat it. So, yeah, Trump's got a big trip. He's going to Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the Vatican, the cradles of America's three great religions, Christianity, Judaism, and oil. And before I move on with the show, there is other news, pretty big news that happened this week. Anthony Weiner pleaded guilty to tweeting his dick, and Roger Ailes died. Between those two stories and the horrible week Trump had, perverts got their comeuppance. If there was a movie made about this week, it would be called Pussy Strikes Back. You know, yes, Roger Ailes, okay, but when somebody dies, you're supposed to not say bad things about him. So let me just say, when it came to making old white Americans more frightened and more ill-informed, nobody did it better.